Oh, a little baby. Oh.
Hey guys, what's up? Tata Trash Reader here, and we're back. I'm in a little bit of a different position today because my little puppy's here. She's just hanging out with us today. So we're gonna do the September wrap-up today, and we're gonna be talking about the 4 books that I read. I thought I was gonna get 5, but the one is super long. So as soon as that one's done, I'll probably add it to the October wrap-up, or we'll do a more in-depth look at it because it is definitely the longest book that I have read this year. I'm pretty sure. I don't think I have a much longer book than that. We'll see. Anyway, let's get started. So the first one that I want to start with actually is one that I talked about that's on my Witchiest Fall TBR, The Stars Fall by Holly Rose. So if you guys don't remember, this book follows Gemma and Beck. This is more of a sci-fi novel than it is like a traditional witch magic novel. So it starts with them, they're leaving Earth, and it takes them about 2 months to get to the planet Gaia. Gemma is a witch that's trying to suppress her powers because something really awful happened and she believes that her magic caused it. Beck is a little cutie patootie. He is not so convinced that her magic is what caused like this particular accident, and he thinks that she needs to learn how to control her magic as opposed to trying to suppress it. This is their love story. This was so adorable. I really enjoyed this both from a futuristic and sci-fi perspective, but also I really enjoyed the slower kind of, the slower chemistry between the characters. There is a little bit of a found family trope here as well, and yeah, this was a great read. I recommend this if you really like witchy novels, but you are looking for something different than your normal witch kind of novel. Holly Rose is also the wonderful author of her second book called The Night of the Trove. I can talk about that one in another video, but The Night of the Trove was actually the first book that I read by her. And she also has a second book published called Follow Your Bliss, which is a contemporary romance. So yeah, go check those out. I'll talk about them in another video later when I do her as my indie author spotlight. The next book that I read this month is called Never Leave the Dogs Behind. It's a memoir. This is actually on my 10 Before the End challenge. This book is by Brianna Madia. If you guys aren't familiar with Brianna, she is actually an Instagram influencer, and she lives a very unique life. If you've been following her Instagram, you'll see she has actually adopted a 5th dog. She has 4 here on her cover, and she's written 2 books, this one being the second one. So her first one, called Nowhere for Very Long, talks about her life and how she kind of got to the place that she was, where she's essentially like living kind of the rough life, making it out to Utah, getting doing a lot of camping, doing a lot of outdoor adventuring, how she ended up getting all of her dogs, how she kind of rose to fame on Instagram, and kind of the collapse of that afterward as well. Brianna is truly one of those people that is very unique. I always appreciate how she kind of went from a suburbs of Connecticut girl to somebody who lives life on the edge, and I think that we can learn a lot about how to live our lives intentionally, living our lives so that it's like fulfilling and satisfying for us, and not just following what everybody else expects of us and meeting those like particular like life milestones. This is a great book. I definitely recommend reading Nowhere for Very Long first, because this is a direct sequel to that. This one is much shorter than the first one, but both are excellent books. My third book that I finished this month is A Touch of Chaos. This was also on my personal 10 Before the End challenge. This is the 7th and final book in the Hades x Persephone saga by Scarlett Sinclair. I'm gonna try not to give too much away about this book since this is the 7th and final book in the series. I do have to say, as somebody who really loves Greek mythology and some reimagined stories of them, I really loved the way that this wrapped up. I've really enjoyed how Scarlett St. Clair has sprinkled in the stories of the other gods and has really taken her time to do the research and weave in many of the Greek tales that we've come to know and love. But if you haven't started this series yet, or if you are in the middle of it and you haven't finished it yet, I highly recommend you do. This was a fairly easy read for being almost 600 pages. I flew through it in probably a week. To be fair, I had a lot of brain space then too, but yeah, I thought that this was really good. And my 4th and final book that I read this month was Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. So I see why people really like this book. Luke Brooks is a little hottie patati. He's great if you're one of those people that really likes a rough and rugged kind of guy, you know, or if that's like your thing when you're reading a book. Emmy Ryder's really cool too. She is a character with ADHD, although I don't think the ADHD rep is super strong here. There is a couple of references throughout, but I don't see it as super strong. However, I did also really like Emmy's best friend, Teddy. Teddy is the kind of person who is incredibly supportive, is a really distinct character in my opinion, and really just brings kind of that levity and humor to the book. This is great if you want to get out of a reading slump and you want something that's pretty quick paced, or you're looking for something that is just a little bit different than what you're typically reading, and you want something that's, I would consider a low stakes romance. But yeah, I did enjoy this one for what it was. I think that I'm just enjoying a lot more involved and complex plots more right now. So now that we've done the September wrap up, I want to get into our indie author spotlight. So the reason I want to do indie author spotlight specifically is I really feel like indie authors are just going through it right now. They are not getting picked up by trad publishers, even though their stories are amazing. I see that it's getting so much harder to market their books on social media with the way that algorithms have been going recently. And for whatever reason, people are still very much on the book talk, or under the book talk spell, as I've been calling it. Let me adjust my camera, I hate this. This month, I want to feature Alex Perez, who is an indie author that I have been working with for, my gosh, almost a year now, very close to a year. I read their debut novel, Bride to the Fox Demon, which was really great for a first published novel. And they've continued to write other books and novellas. And before their first published novel, they published a collection of poetry as well. Their poems do tackle some triggering topics and triggering content, so make sure that you take a look at those before you dive in or you decide to order them. But I really want to talk about their novellas and their novels, because that's what I have been working with them on the most. So I want to start with the one that I just mentioned, Bride to the Fox Demon. This is the first part of their Souls of the Abyss series. It follows Orin and Katori. So Katori moves to a village and is settling down into her new home, and then she is taken and sacrificed to the fox demon that rules over this village. Katori's story is essentially about her trying to get back to her original life, or deciding if she wants to stay with Oren in his estate. Oren is the leader of the Fox Demon clan. He is very stoic, he's very even-keeled. He finds himself kind of unsettled as Katori enters his realm, and he, you know, kind of starts to fall in love with her. I'd say that it's overly dark. I won't say it's like overly low stakes either, but this Bride to the Fox Demon is the series opener. It's a series of interconnected standalones. Alex this year also released the second book in that series called Sold to the Owl Demon. I'm having trouble with my words today. This one follows Stolas, who we met in Bride to the Fox Demon, and his partner, Mina, who is Mina is sold off by her parents, and Stolas essentially buys her, kidnaps her, whatever you want to call it, and takes her back to the Owl Demon's realm, and then their story from there progresses. This one is a little bit darker. There is some heavier themes, so I would definitely read the content warnings before you jump into it. However, Stolas is a great character. He's very, very different from Oren. This is a very unique story, I think. The next book that Alex Perez has in their backlist is Saved by the Water Dragon God. This is the first book in a new series. So we have a series of demons, and we have a series of gods. So we're working in the series of gods here. This story is about Liliana and Nandori. So Liliana is a human, Nandori is our water dragon god. Liliana falls off of a cruise ship and into the water, which happens to be part of Nandori's kingdom. And Nandori sees her in the water, sees her drowning, and saves her. Then the story follows them as Liliana tries to untether herself from Nandori and tries to decide whether or not she is going to return to the surface and return to her normal life, or if she's going to stay. This one is more spicy. It probably has my favorite character art that Alex has commissioned for Nandori and Liliana. It's just such beautiful pieces of artwork. Highly recommend this one. It's my favorite one, I think. So in addition to the full-length novels, Alex Perez has also been working on some novellas as well. The first one that's already been released is called Bitten with Ecstasy. This short novella is also great for Halloween if you want a short, spooky, sexy read. This follows Clarissa and Conrad. Clarissa is abducted from her job working at a bar and is taken to Conrad and Salastor's mansion. Salastor is another vampire that Conrad lives with. They essentially reach an agreement that he is allowed to feed from her and he pays her. So of course things become very steamy. You notice that there's like very palpable chemistry between the characters. And it just turns into a really sweet novella. Again, super quick read, but just, yeah, really loved it. Alex Perez's second novella that is releasing on Halloween this year is called Enthralled with the Ghost in My Bed. Ivory is a mid-30s woman who works a corporate job and rents an apartment in her city. Reslin is the ghost that haunts that apartment. They soon realize that they can see each other and communicate with each other after Ivory drinks a bunch of wine, gets drunk, thinks that there's a ghost in her apartment, which like there is, and uses one of those ghost communicator apps, or like a ghost box app, to start talking to him. I think that this is an adorable and funny way to start a novel like this. Reslin is a little, you know, he's really funny. There's a little bit of like stabbiness in it if that's like your thing. Yeah, I it's really funny. I think that there's a lot of humor in it. Ivory is a wonderful character. I like that she's also in her mid-30s but has this like very like young spirit. Reslin is you know, he's been dead for a long time and has been confined to the apartment, so he's like, oh, this person is like really interesting, and he like kind of tells the stories of the people that have lived in the apartment before. And that's essentially, you know, it's their love story as well. So make sure that you pick that up. I also think it's a wonderful like fall spooky Halloween read, especially if you're looking to diversify and pick up something quick to break that fall slump with all. Alex Perez is a wonderfully hardworking author. They are also non-binary, so supporting their books is also supporting a queer author, which we love to do here. I know that they have so many other projects that they're working on, so there's going to be so many more wonderful works coming from Alex. I would really like to encourage you guys to pick up their books. You can pick them up on Amazon. You can also get signed copies and some of the artwork from the Crafty Bookstore. They also do a couple of sales, you know, a few times a year if you know you're a little bit on a budget. I think that they are doing a great job so far. They're funny. Their sense of humor is just top tier, I think. We send each other memes on Instagram, and I would actually consider Alex a friend. But yeah, definitely go support Alex and all of their wonderful works. So that's it for this fortnight. I remember to hit the subscribe button below if you are really enjoying my content. And be sure to follow me on Instagram and Threads for more consistent or more daily content. I hope you guys have a great October. In the comments below, tell me what you're reading this month or what your most anticipated book is this month, and give me a link to it so that I can go check it out. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Interrupting your regularly scheduled programming to let you know that Alex Perez is doing a special edition pre-order of Saved by the Water Dragon God through the Crafty Bookstore. The pre-order runs until November 8th, and the book has these beautiful sprayed edges and the most fantastic art cover I've ever seen. So if you're interested in obtaining a copy of the book, make sure that you pre-order before November 8th and support an indie author.